The debate over gun rights in the United States has always been one of the most passionate and polarizing issues in American politics. Recently, discussions surrounding a potential, historic win for gun owners, linked to actions by Donald Trump have reignited national attention. Supporters view these developments as a major reinforcement of constitutional freedoms, while critics argue they may have significant implications for public safety. Understanding the context and potential impact of these actions is essential for anyone interested in American politics and constitutional rights. The foundation of this debate lies in the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, which states, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed." Over the decades, this amendment has been interpreted in various ways, but a landmark moment came with the 2008 Supreme Court decision in District of Columbia v. Heller. This ruling affirmed that individuals have the right to possess firearms unconnected with service in a militia, particularly for lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. Later, the 2010 case McDonald v. City of Chicago incorporated this right to apply to the states through the 14th Amendment, further strengthening federal protections for gun ownership. During his presidency and in subsequent political initiatives, Donald Trump positioned himself as a staunch defender of the Second Amendment. His administration emphasized deregulation and support for gun owners, including efforts to expand concealed carry reciprocity and reduce certain federal restrictions. The term, historic win for gun owners, often refers to executive actions aimed at reassessing firearm regulations, directing federal agencies to review policies perceived as burdensome, and reinforcing protections for lawful gun ownership. One of the most discussed aspects of these executive actions involves the authority of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives (ATF). Executive directives have encouraged the agency to reevaluate rules concerning firearm classifications, enforcement priorities, and compliance requirements. Supporters argue that such reviews help prevent regulatory overreach and ensure that law-abiding citizens are not unfairly targeted. Critics, however, contend that loosening regulations could increase risks related to gun violence and public safety. Another significant element of these initiatives is the emphasis on protecting gun owners from what supporters describe as backdoor gun control. This includes concerns over universal background checks, firearm registries, and restrictions on commonly owned firearms. By signaling opposition to these measures, Trump's actions have been celebrated by gun rights organizations as a reaffirmation of constitutional liberties. Groups advocating for gun ownership often frame these developments as a restoration of rights rather than an expansion. The political response has been sharply divided. Republican lawmakers and many conservative commentators have praised the measures as a fulfillment of campaign promises and a defense of individual freedoms. On the other hand, Democratic leaders and gun control advocates argue that such actions could undermine efforts to address gun-related violence. This division reflects broader ideological differences regarding the balance between individual rights and collective security. Public reaction has also been influenced by the cultural significance of firearms in the United States. For many Americans, gun ownership is deeply tied to traditions of self-reliance, personal protection, and resistance to tyranny. Rural communities, in particular, often view firearms as essential tools for hunting and defense. Conversely, urban populations, which may experience higher rates of gun violence, tend to support stricter regulations. These contrasting perspectives contribute to the ongoing national conversation. Legal experts note that while executive orders can shape federal policy, their long-term impact often depends on judicial interpretation and legislative support. Any significant regulatory changes may face legal challenges, potentially leading to further Supreme Court involvement. The evolving judicial landscape, including a court perceived as more favorable to Second Amendment claims, adds another layer of complexity to the issue. Economically, policies perceived as supportive of gun ownership can influence the firearms industry. Manufacturers and retailers often experience increased demand following pro-Second Amendment announcements, reflecting consumer expectations of expanded access. This economic dimension underscores the far-reaching effects of political decisions beyond the legal sphere. It is also important to consider the international perspective. The United States has one of the highest rates of civilian gun ownership in the world, making its policies a subject of global interest. Observers from other countries often view American gun laws through the lens of their own regulatory frameworks, leading to diverse interpretations of the significance of these developments. From a societal standpoint, the debate over gun rights touches on fundamental questions about liberty, security, and the role of government. Proponents of Trump's actions argue that an armed citizenry serves as a safeguard against both crime and governmental overreach. Opponents, however, emphasize the need for measures aimed at reducing gun violence, such as enhanced background checks and restrictions on certain types of firearms. These competing priorities ensure that the issue remains a central topic in American political discourse. Media coverage has played a crucial role in shaping public perception. Supportive outlets often highlight the constitutional and cultural dimensions of the actions, portraying them as a victory for freedom. In contrast, critical coverage tends to focus on potential public safety risks and the broader implications for gun control efforts. This divergence illustrates the powerful influence of media framing on public understanding. Looking ahead, the long-term significance of what many describe as a historic win for gun owners will depend on several factors, including future legislative initiatives, court rulings, and shifts in public opinion. Political leadership changes can also alter the trajectory of firearm policy, making the issue inherently dynamic. As such, the current developments represent not an endpoint but a chapter in an ongoing national conversation. For viewers of this video, understanding these complexities is essential. Rather than viewing the issue solely through a partisan lens, it is helpful to consider the historical, legal, cultural, and societal dimensions that shape the debate. By examining multiple perspectives, audiences can develop a more nuanced appreciation of what is at stake. In conclusion, the characterization of Donald Trump's Second Amendment-related actions as a historic win for gun owners reflects the enthusiasm of supporters who see these measures as reinforcing constitutional freedoms. At the same time, the concerns raised by critics highlight the enduring tension between individual rights and public safety. This multifaceted issue continues to evolve, influenced by legal interpretations, political dynamics, and societal values. As the debate unfolds, it remains a defining element of the American political landscape, inviting ongoing discussion and engagement from citizens and policymakers alike. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, be sure to like the video, share it with others interested in U.S. politics, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth explorations of global defense and policy issues. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you see these developments as a historic victory for gun owners, or do you believe further regulation is necessary? Your perspective is an important part of this ongoing conversation.